What is up, everyone? We are back because Exilecon is tomorrow. I was not sure if I was going to make a video on this before, as in expectations, or after, but I said screw it, let's just do both. I haven't made a video in a while, and finally, we're getting new POE stuff, which seems to be the only thing people on my channel really want to hear about, and I don't blame them. There's not a whole lot going on in the ARPG world today. There was another game that came out. Um, it's okay, you know. It's made by an indie studio called Blizzard. Yeah, I swear that's the only dig I'm going to make on Diablo 4 in the next like 30 seconds, I promise. But ExileCon is Friday and Saturday of this week, so tomorrow and the next day. We are going to be streaming it and watching it, but I figured I would do a video on what we are expected to see and some things that I am really hoping that we see. Okay, so there's some things we already know. We know that there's no more links on armors and stuff like that. The actual gems have their sockets, so you can find a gem that has 4 links on it, or you can find, say a cyclone gem with 6 links on it, which means you can get a lot more 6 links. So that is a very interesting thing. We know that. We know we're going to get the beta reveal. I don't know if we will get a release date. I'm not sure if they came out and said that, but we are going to get the beta announcement along with POE Mobile, and it's weird that I don't know anything about that. Even when I look it up, I'm still not going to care, or maybe I will. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see if they go the Diablo Immortal way. They try to make it incredibly mobile money hungry and pay to win. But maybe there's some more information. I just haven't looked it up. Also, they are going to have a race at, I believe, the end of the conference. There is going to be panels. There is one called Rendering POE, which I would assume would be some kind of behind the scenes of the making of POE2, which is neat. But other than that, I think they're doing a good job of gonna show off some stuff, talk to the popular people. Hopefully, they didn't make them sign some contract to be like, you can't be too negative, you can't say crap about this, you can't talk shit about this. I hope they are open, so if they see something they don't like, they can honestly be like, no, yeah, that looks, I hope they change that, that looks stupid. Now, what are some of the things that we want to see that I am kind of praying for? These are in no particular order. I'm just have some notes here I'm going to go over that I've been thinking of the last couple of days. The first one would be, I hope the pacing is not slowed down. Okay, I know PoE sometimes gets some slack for being like, oh, in the maps, you're just ripping through everything as fast as possible. You're barely playing the game. That's the game. Once you get a build like that, that's usually what people are aiming for. That whole, power dream of being able to do that. For every one person that bitches about that, there's 9 other people that love that about the game, including myself. Now, with the footage, the limited amount we've had, it's obviously more towards the beginning of the game that they're showing. So the run speed isn't really there, but generally it doesn't seem like it is going to be slower, and if a little bit slower, not much at all. So I'm not too worried about that, but that would be the first main thing is, I never want to hear them talk about pacing and the slower direction. That would just absolutely irk me. Next thing is, we already know that the links have been changed, so the gems now have the sockets, which means we are going to have a lot more 6 links. I really hope this does not mean they are nerfing shit into the ground to compensate for this. I don't really know how they would do it, giving so many more sockets to people. Now, things like auras are still going to be handicapped because it doesn't matter if you have more links. It's going to be harder to run more auras because I'm assuming they will still take reservation. Now, you'll be able to put Empower on more auras, so maybe you can fit 1 or 2 more in there. Aura bots might have a field day with this. But I do not think things like auras are what's going to be the problem. I think it's going to be skills like dots and stuff that are going to have multiple 6 links and multiple debuffs that have, 6 links attached to them. That being said, it will probably also make crafting, if it's not the same, or if it is the same, 7 link gloves, 6 link gloves and helms, stuff like that are going to be much less important, or maybe more important, because then you can have multiple 7, 8, and 9 links on stuff, which is actually would be pretty dope. Now, another thing that would be cool is some quality of life improvements. Some simple things like having maybe awakened PoE trade integrated into the game, so you don't have to tell people, even though it's super easy to download a third-party program. A lot of people, that's a huge turnoff. They're like, I'm not downloading anything that I don't know about that well off of a website. I don't care how many people are using it and how well it works. That's just sketchy, and I understand that. Even though Awaken PoE Trade is a great tool, and I always suggest it in a bunch of my videos, that would be cool to be integrated, along with maybe a loot filter that's more integrated, so you aren't going on, Filter Blade, having to make your own filter, export it, download in the game. Now, I do appreciate that they do make that pretty easy, that you can download the file and just go look for it in game, click on it, and say, this is my loot filter I want. But just editing it is weird. I think it would be cool if they not only integrated a loot filter, but say you're at a part, the end game, instead of going to Filter Blade and saying, I don't want to see these items anymore, and customizing it that way, if you had a hotkey to say, I don't want to see this item anymore, you highlight it, you click it, it just automatically puts it in the don't show me this anymore. Fragments of stuff, like an alchemist fragment. And you're like, I don't want to see these anymore. You could do it that way. I think that would be pretty awesome. Now, a big thing is, I think, the crafting in the game. It is very rewarding. It is very awesome when you learn it, but learning it is a pain in the ass. If you've ever tried to introduce someone to crafting, the whole prefix, suffix thing, implicit, explicit, gets very confusing to people that are kind of on the fence about the game already. I think it kills a lot of the player base that would have stuck with it, because they're already kind of on the fence, like, this game seems complicated, and then they just so happen to, like, try to get into crafting. I feel like that's the nail in the coffin. They're like, this is way too complicated. So maybe some things that would be cool, just off the top of my head, is maybe have a color coding thing on the mods. So now, instead of saying, 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes, maybe like all the suffixes have a slightly different shade of color. And suffixes say, like a light green. Prefixes are like, a light blue. And you just know 3 and 3 of the color. So newer players will pick up an item, be like, this has this many room for this. There's 2 blues, 3 greens. It has room for another blue, or something like that, just to make it a little bit more simple. Now, this is assuming they aren't going to change crafting too much. For all we know, it'll be entirely different. We have no indication of that. But since we already know that PoE 2 is basically just replacing PoE 1, it's kind of just changing a bunch of stuff, putting fancy new graphics on it, adding new story stuff. It's going to be 7 acts, stuff like that. Hopefully they don't just dramatically change some of the things that we love about the game. But then again, that is kind of the tightrope they're walking. How much can they change to make it fresh and make people happy, but not piss people off and make it an entirely different game? Also, I think it would be really cool if they had some kind of death summary, or just kind of a death recap, so that when something kills you, you can see what killed you. And for an example of that in PoE is, I get questions that are like, survivability questions. And one of the first questions I always ask is, what's your chaos res? And they'll be like, 5. And it's like, okay, well, that's a big deal for tankiness. Now, a lot of the builds I play, I kind of just suck it up and just assume I'm going to die from chaos res, because I like to play more higher DPS builds. I like to really push my DPS as high as possible. And I feel like if people could see that if 80% they were dying, it was from chaos damage, they might be like, okay, I can't take it. I need to fix this. So I think that would be really cool if there was a way. It doesn't have to be even too specific. You can just say, 4,000 damage taken from chaos, and it's what killed you. Or a fire attack killed you, but what took the bulk of your health was chaos damage, or something like that. I think that would be really awesome, and help people troubleshoot what is wrong with their builds. And also, while I'm talking about it, some kind of in-game DPS meter, instead of having to go and refresh your build and go in path of building and see if something is helping you and damaging, might be cool. You could rather do it in game, but I think having something that's nearly as good as POB is for crafting and theory crafting And by crafting, I mean crafting your build and sig stuff like that. There's no way there will ever be something like that in the game. That'd be way too much work, so I don't think it's gonna replace it. But maybe just add a couple quality life stuff that make it so it's less common that you have to go into Path of Building. Alright, so after Exilecon, there will be the announcement of 3.22, the new season. It looks like it is going to be on August 18th. That is not confirmed, but all signs point to that. It will probably be a 4-month season. And what will they do with that? Well, the main thing I'm curious about is, since POE2 is generally overriding POE1, I'm curious if they will use this last season, or second to last season. We're assuming it's the last season, but we don't know as far as timing is. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But hopefully what would be cool is, with the new season gimmick, they will introduce, maybe to test, some POE2 like stuff. They will put some of those mechanics into POE1. It's kind of a long shot, but you never know. They might use this next 4 months as kind of a testing phase to make sure certain things are working. So that would be cool, but other than that, we have no idea what the last one is going to be. The real toss-up is, do they want to go out with a bang in POE1? They put a lot of time and effort in the gimmick, or are they like, screw it, everyone's excited for POE2, we're going to put all our resources toward POE2, and the last season's going to be trash. Doesn't matter, I'm going to play it anyways. I'm still probably going to, even if it isn't that great, I'm still going to play it, obviously. You know, it's not like there's any other ARPG to play right now, so. But another thing with that is, this will probably be a 4-month season, would be my guess, and that would mean that the window of opportunity after the season ended would be late December, which is the holiday season. You have Christmas and you have New Year's. And considering you might want to have all your workers there, it might be a dick move to say, too bad. Our biggest, week or 2 weeks in the last 10 years is now, your holiday. You don't get a vacation, basically. So maybe they would do another season because of that. Maybe they do a 5-month season for the next season, which would kind of suck. I don't want that. Having 4-month seasons, this season's already killing me. I feel like 3 months would technically be the sweet spot for these seasons, but that's just my personal opinion. I've had friends say they think 4 months is too short, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I guess if you're a super casual, maybe, but I feel like if you're going to get super endgame, you would have done it by now. Yeah, so that's what I hope to see on that. I think that is all I wanted to say. Those are all the notes I had. If I think of something else while I'm editing this video or while it's uploading, I'll put it in the comments or descriptions. And please, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you hope will be there. Maybe, tell me a long shot thing that you hope will be there, but you highly doubt they will introduce in the next POE2. And let's just have a discussion on it. Because I definitely did not cover what everyone might have predictions on and all of that. And also make sure you go follow on Twitch, twitch.tv/SafeOnTalk, because although I stream on YouTube a lot of the time, as well as the same time on Twitch, I would like to just start streaming on Twitch instead of YouTube. They're a little bit more lenient, and also if I do something stupid on stream, it doesn't screw over my YouTube channel. It would just, maybe hurt my Twitch channel a little bit. Not that I plan on ever doing something that would get me in trouble, but it's peace of mind. So make sure you follow over there. Plus, we got a whole bunch of group of great people that hang out over there. They're always very helpful. We're going to be watching Exilecon tomorrow, Friday. I am going to miss probably the first hour and a half because I have to work, but then I am going to rush home, watch that, and we'll be watching everything on Saturday. So please stop by. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks everyone for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts, your input, and I feel like I was gonna make one more joke about something. No, I think that's it. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later.